Have you ever wondered if some secrets are too dangerous to uncover? What if I told you that there are phenomena so extraordinary, they defy everything we think we know? Throughout history, countless stories of inexplicable events and astonishing abilities have been hushed, buried in the shadows of skepticism and fear. These are tales of individuals who possess gifts so remarkable, they challenge the very fabric of reality. Prepare to dive into a world where the impossible becomes possible, where the veil of the ordinary is torn apart to reveal mysteries that will leave you questioning what you believe. Today, you're about to uncover the chilling story of Mateo Villanueva, a boy whose terrifyingly accurate predictions shook a small town to its core. His revelations will make you wonder, what lies beyond the limits of human understanding? Brace yourself for a tale that defies logic and will leave you speechless. In a forgotten corner of Argentina, in the year 1891, a 12-year-old boy left an entire community reeling with abilities that seemed to belong to another world. Welcome to the haunting story of Mateo Villanueva, a child who didn't just predict the future, he seemed to unravel the very thoughts of those around him. But how did he come to possess such an unnerving gift? And what dark secrets lay hidden behind his extraordinary powers? Let me take you to a place where reality blurs with the impossible. A tiny village, a family from afar, and a boy who saw far beyond what any human should. San Rafael del Valley, a speck on the map of Mendoza, Argentina, was a place where the sun painted golden hues across sprawling vineyards, filling the air with the scent of earth and history. But beneath its serene skies, something unsettling was stirring. Born in 1879, Mateo Villanueva was no ordinary child. By the age of 12, his name was whispered in awe and fear among the villagers, not for his charm, but for abilities that seemed to teeter on the edge of the supernatural. To some, his gift was a miracle. To others, it was a curse that threatened to unravel their quiet lives. If you're captivated by stories that challenge the boundaries of reality, subscribe now to uncover tales that will make you question everything you thought you knew. Mateo wasn't just brilliant, he was uncanny. His mind, sharp as a blade, sliced through the complexities of mathematics with ease. But that was only the beginning. He could predict human behavior with a precision that sent chills down the spine. Some called him the boy who sees the future. Others shrank from him in dread. How could a child so young grasp the intricate dance of human emotions or foresee the choices others would make? The dusty archives of Mendoza hold records that defy explanation. Mateo foretold the actions of individuals, the unfolding of events, and even the twists of the local economy, with an accuracy that seemed to mock reason itself. But his story wasn't one of simple brilliance. In 1878, when the Villanueva family arrived in San Rafael del Valley from Córdoba, they were seeking a fresh start. The village, home to just 800 souls, was a haven of simplicity, far from the chaos of larger cities. The Villanuevas settled into the rhythm of rural life, tending to the vineyards and earning the respect of their neighbors through hard work. Yet no one could have predicted that their arrival would bring with it a force so strange, so unsettling, that it would forever alter the fate of the village. San Rafael del Valley was a melting pot of Spanish and Italian descendants, their lives woven into the fabric of agriculture, with wine as the lifeblood of the region. But when Mateo's extraordinary abilities began to surface, the village's quiet routine was shattered. Some saw his gift as a divine sign, a glimpse into the unknown. Others whispered of something darker, a power too great for a child to wield. The question lingered like a storm cloud. Where did this ability come from? And why did it choose him? What if the roots of a family held secrets that could change the course of generations. The mystery surrounding Mateo wasn't his alone. It stretched deep into the bloodline of the Villanuevas. Eduardo, Mateo's father, was a respected accountant at the Carranza family's winery, a man whose unassuming presence belied a keen understanding of the world. His wife, Isabel, was a quiet force, tending to their home and teaching at the local school with a warmth that endeared her to the community. Together, they raised 3 children, with Mateo, born in 1879, as the youngest. But beneath their ordinary facade, something extraordinary was brewing. At just 10 years old, Mateo began to draw attention, not just from his family, but from the entire village. Dr. Hernan Molina, the local physician, was the first to document the boy's peculiar talents. Mateo's memory was flawless, his observations razor-sharp, and his intellect far surpassed that of his peers. Yet, what struck Dr. Molina most was Mateo's emotional detachment. In a world where feelings shape connections, Mateo seemed to exist in a realm apart, his mind a labyrinth of logic and calculation, untouched by the warmth or turmoil of human emotion. The villagers didn't know whether to marvel or recoil. To them, Mateo was an enigma, a child who could solve complex equations in his head, yet remained distant, almost alien in his interactions. His deep, unblinking eyes seemed to see through people as if he already knew their fates. Whispers spread like wildfire. "He's not like us," the elders murmured. "It's as if he hears our thoughts before we speak them." But what was the source of this power? And what did it mean for a community bound by traditions and superstition? Have you ever felt a single glance could unravel your deepest secrets? Mateo Villanueva wasn't just a prodigy. He was a mirror reflecting truths others longed to hide. In September 1890, during a Sunday Mass in the village church, an event unfolded that would change San Rafael del Valley forever. That morning, as the congregation gathered, Mateo approached Tomas Mendoza, a respected merchant. With a gaze as steady as stone, he noted something peculiar. Mendoza had taken 247 steps to reach the church, not the usual 251. A trivial observation, perhaps, but one that peeled back layers of deception. That simple remark revealed a devastating truth. Mendoza had been straying from his usual path, entangled in a secret affair. The church, once filled with the quiet hum of prayer, erupted in gasps and whispers. A boy of 11 had exposed a scandal that shattered a family's reputation and shook the moral foundations of the community. The Mendoza family crumbled under the weight of shame, and another family, the Ortegas, fled the village to escape the fallout. Mateo's observation wasn't just a curiosity, it was a spark that ignited chaos. Suddenly, his ability to see the unseen became a threat. The villagers no longer saw him as a marvel. They feared his piercing gaze, capable of uncovering their darkest secrets. What else did he know? What other truths lay buried in the pages of the notebooks he carried everywhere, scribbling with an intensity that bordered on obsession? Subscribe now to uncover stories that reveal the hidden truths of our world, and join a community daring to look beyond the surface. What if a child could not only see the present, but also the future, with a clarity that chilled the soul? By October 1890, Mateo's abilities took a darker turn. Dr. Molina, who had been studying the boy, noticed something deeply unsettling. Mateo wasn't just observing, he was predicting events with a precision that seemed almost otherworldly. When he spoke of Carmen Vega, a frail woman known for her poor health, his words carried an eerie weight. "Her breaths are uneven," he said calmly. "Her skin is turning gray. Life will slip through her fingers like water." On October 27, 1890, Carmen Vega died of heart failure, exactly as Mateo had foretold. The village fell silent, gripped by a fear they couldn't name. How could a child know such things? Dr. Molina, a man of science, found his skepticism crumbling. Mateo's predictions weren't guesses. They were certainties delivered with a detachment that made them all the more terrifying. The community began to wonder, what else could he see? And what did it mean for their own futures? By June 1891, Mateo's reputation had grown into something both revered and feared. During a meeting with the town's mayor, Vicente Ramos, the boy handed over a sealed envelope, claiming it contained a prediction that would come true in 13 days. The village buzzed with anticipation and dread. Was it a trick, a child's game, or something far more sinister? As the days ticked by, the sealed envelope became a symbol of the unknown, its contents a mystery that held the community in a vice of fear. On June 22nd, the truth was revealed. The envelope detailed the fraudulent dealings of Ernesto Silva, the town's trusted treasurer. The figures, dates, and transactions were exact, exposing a crime that had gone unnoticed by all but Mateo. Silva was arrested, and the village was left reeling. How could a 12-year-old uncover such a meticulously hidden scheme? The answer lay in the notebooks Mateo kept, filled with meticulous records of the villagers' every move, their habits, their lies. When Isabel, Mateo's mother, discovered one of these notebooks hidden in his room, she was horrified. Pages upon pages cataloged the behaviors of every resident, from the number of steps they took to the subtle shifts in their voices when they lied. Most chilling were the coefficients of predictability, as Mateo called them. Calculations of human behavior so precise, they seemed to strip away free will. 7 names were marked with warnings of significant behavioral anomalies. What did Mateo know about these people? And why was he watching them so closely? On September 17, 1891, tragedy struck again. Rodrigo Carranza, the owner of the village's largest winery, fell to his death from a platform in his bodega. The official report called it an accident, but whispers of doubt spread like wildfire. Mateo had been nearby, observing the winery's operations with his usual intensity. When questioned, he explained he was studying efficiency, calculating a 67% chance of an accident. His words were cold, clinical, devoid of sorrow. To him, Carranza's death was just a statistic. But the village saw more. Eduardo Villanueva, Mateo's father, had been embroiled in a dispute with Carranza over financial irregularities at the winery. Could Mateo's presence at the scene be more than coincidence? Some dared to wonder if the boy, with his uncanny foresight, had played a role in the tragedy. The thought was too horrifying to voice aloud, but it hung over San Rafael del Valley like a storm cloud. By November 1891, the Villanueva family vanished under the cover of night, leaving no trace. Authorities tracked them to Mendoza, then to a train bound for Chile. But the trail went cold. It was as if they had dissolved into the ether. Dr. Molina, haunted by Mateo's case, described him in a letter as a neurological anomaly, a mind so advanced it lacked the empathy that tethered others to humanity. To him, Mateo was a danger, a being who could dismantle lives without remorse. The village never recovered. Families fled, schools emptied, and a pervasive fear settled over San Rafael del Valley. The official report on the deaths of Rodrigo Carranza, his son Santiago, and the blacksmith Miguel Ortega labeled them accidents or suicides, but the town's constable Herrera privately believed otherwise. He suspected Mateo had orchestrated events, manipulating outcomes with a precision that left no evidence. Years later, in 1898, a string of mysterious deaths in Rosario bore an eerie resemblance to those in San Rafael del Valley. Inspector Guzman, investigating the cases, couldn't shake the feeling that someone like Mateo was at work, a mind capable of seeing and perhaps shaping the future. By the 1900s, Mateo's story had become a subject of fascination for psychologists, criminologists, and philosophers. Was he a prodigy or a monster, a genius or a curse? Today, Mateo's case echoes in discussions of ethics, cognition, and artificial intelligence. What happens when a mind, human or machine, can predict behavior with such precision that free will seems an illusion? His story is a chilling reminder that some truths are too heavy to bear, and some gifts come at a cost too great to pay. Subscribe now to explore the mysteries that lurk beyond the veil of the ordinary, and join us in uncovering the secrets the world would rather keep hidden. What if the shadows of the past never truly fade? The story of Mateo Villanueva didn't end with his family's mysterious disappearance from San Rafael del Valley in 1891. Like ripples spreading across a still pond, the echoes of his chilling abilities reached far beyond the quiet vineyards of Mendoza, casting a shadow that refused to be forgotten. What if the boy who saw everything, every secret, every lie, every inevitable twist of fate, wasn't an isolated phenomenon? What if his story was just the beginning of something far more unsettling, something that continues to haunt us even now? Prepare to step deeper into a mystery that grows darker with every revelation, where the line between genius and menace blurs, and the truth remains just out of reach. Subscribe now to uncover stories that will keep you awake at night, questioning the boundaries of what's possible. In 1898, 7 years after Mateo and his family vanished, the city of Rosario, Argentina, was gripped by a wave of inexplicable deaths. Each incident, labeled as accidents or suicides, carried an eerie familiarity. A merchant crushed beneath a collapsed scaffold. A seamstress found lifeless in her shop, the victim of an apparent gas leak. A young man despondent, taking his own life, or so it seemed. The details were vague, the explanations too neat, and the people of Rosario began to feel an unshakable unease. Something was wrong, and Inspector Luis Guzman, a seasoned investigator with a knack for spotting patterns, couldn't ignore the similarities to a case he'd only heard in hushed rumors: the strange events of San Rafael del Valley. Guzman dug deeper, poring over reports and witness accounts. Each death was accompanied by whispers of a figure, never clearly seen, always just out of focus, who seemed to linger near the scenes. A boy, some said, though no one could agree on his face or name. The inspector's mind churned with questions. Could it be Mateo, now older, moving through the world like a phantom? Or was it someone else, another soul with the same unnerving ability to see what others couldn't? The idea was as absurd as it was terrifying. Yet, the more Guzman investigated, the more he felt the weight of an invisible presence, orchestrating events from the shadows. What made his blood run cold was a single detail: a notebook discovered in an abandoned boarding house on the outskirts of Rosario. Its pages were filled with cryptic calculations, lists of names, and observations of human behavior so precise they seemed to strip away the soul. The handwriting was meticulous, almost mechanical, and bore an uncanny resemblance to descriptions of Mateo's journals from years before. One entry stood out, chilling in its clarity. Probability of catastrophic failure in scaffolding, 73%. Human error margin, 12%. Outcome inevitable. Days later, the merchant's death had matched the prediction to the letter. Was this a coincidence, or had someone, or something, calculated the tragedy with surgical precision? As the 20th century dawned, Mateo's story transcended the confines of rural Argentina. becoming a subject of fascination and dread among scholars. Psychologists in Buenos Aires began to study the case, piecing together fragments from Dr. Molina's notes and Constable Herrera's reluctant confessions. They debated whether Mateo's mind was a rare anomaly, a prodigy pushed to the edge of humanity, or something far more sinister. Early neuroscientists speculated about his lack of emotional response, theorizing that his brain operated on a level most could never comprehend, processing the world as a series of equations rather than experiences. But what haunted these discussions was a deeper question. What if Mateo wasn't alone? What if there were others, gifted or cursed, with the same ability to see patterns where others saw only chaos? In 1903, a philosophy professor in Córdoba published a controversial paper titled The Calculators of Fate, suggesting that individuals like Mateo represented a new frontier of human evolution, or perhaps a warning. Such minds, he wrote, see the world as a machine, predictable and malleable. But what happens when they begin to adjust the gears? The professor's words sparked heated debates, but they also drew the attention of a small group of researchers studying the nascent field of artificial intelligence. They saw parallels between Mateo's cold, calculating mind and the machines they dreamed of building, systems capable of predicting human behavior with chilling accuracy. If a child could unravel the future with nothing but observation and logic, what could a machine do? And more importantly, what would it mean for humanity if such power fell into hands or circuits that felt no remorse? The search for Mateo and his family yielded no answers. After their trail vanished in Chile, it was as if they had been erased from existence. No records, no sightings, no trace. Some speculated they had fled to Europe, blending into the crowded cities of Paris or London. Others whispered darker theories, that Mateo, aware of the fear he inspired, had orchestrated their disappearance with the same precision he applied to his predictions. Had he calculated the odds of being found and ensured they were zero? In San Rafael del Valley, the scars of his presence lingered. The village, once vibrant, became a ghost town. Those who remained spoke of Mateo in hushed tones, as if saying his name too loudly might summon him back. The vineyard still thrived, but the air felt heavier, tainted by memories of a boy who saw too much. Parents warned their children to avoid speaking of him, fearing his legacy might somehow awaken. Yet across Argentina and beyond, stories of similar figures began to surface. In 1905, a small town in Patagonia reported a young girl who predicted a devastating flood with uncanny accuracy, down to the hour it would strike. In 1912, a man in Salta was said to have foreseen a deadly fire, warning only a select few before vanishing. Each case carried the same hallmarks: meticulous observation, emotionless delivery, and an unsettling sense that the future was not a mystery, but a script already written. Today, Mateo Villanueva's story is more than a historical curiosity. It's a cautionary tale that resonates in our modern world. Ethicists point to his case when debating the limits of knowledge and responsibility. If someone can foresee a tragedy but chooses not to act, are they culpable? If their predictions shape the actions of others, do they bear the weight of the consequences? These questions grow more urgent as artificial intelligence advances, creating systems that mimic Mateo's ability to predict with eerie precision. What happens when a machine, devoid of empathy, calculates the probability of human suffering and acts or fails to act based on cold logic? Mateo's legacy forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. His story challenges our understanding of free will, suggesting that our choices might be little more than patterns waiting to be decoded. It asks whether genius, untethered by compassion, becomes a force of destruction. And it begs the question, are there others like him, walking among us, seeing what we cannot, shaping the world in ways we'll never understand? If you're ready to face the unknown, subscribe now and join a community daring to explore the mysteries that linger just beyond our grasp. Like this video to help uncover the truths the world tries to hide. What if Mateo Villanueva wasn't an anomaly, but a glimpse into a future we're not ready to face? What if his ability to see the world as a series of calculations wasn't a gift or a curse, but simply a reflection of what humanity could become? As we build machines that mirror his mind, predicting our every move, we stand on the edge of a precipice. The story of Mateo is a warning, etched in the annals of a forgotten village, that some truths are too heavy to bear and some minds are too powerful to control. Somewhere in the silence of history, Mateo's notebooks may still exist, their pages filled with secrets that could unravel the world. And somewhere, perhaps, a mind like his is watching, calculating, waiting. Will we ever know the full extent of what he saw? Or will his story remain a shadow, forever out of reach, reminding us that the greatest mysteries are the ones we're afraid to understand? What would you do if you could see the future and it terrified you?